Okay, look at that. It's been one hell of a morning. That was a bad way for me to start that. Cleaning boo boo out my eye. But what you gonna do? It is a live show. This is what it is. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How are you guys doing here today? It's a little bit of a different scenario going on this morning. But today, I do get to touch base on something that I wanted to touch base on, which is the Guyana Cyber Crimes Act. Okay, the Act of 2018. It's a very important act, too, because currently that act is actually becoming something very important in my life, right? And I decided today that we would go ahead and take an opportunity and we would review this act because there are some fundamental problems with this act. Okay, first, let me start by saying that I respect, to the best of my ability, all laws of this country. But there are some laws that just leave you to question, who were these laws really made to protect? Okay? You might think the laws are actually made to protect citizens, but that is not always the case. In some ways, yes, but in other ways, no. Okay? And we're going to go through these laws. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please do understand that these days when I'm here and I'm doing this show, I'm doing this show here on behalf of myself and not on behalf of the network that I'm still a member to. Not on behalf of anything else, no political group, nothing like that, because I'm not associated with any political group here in this country. Okay? Some people might think that I go one direction or I go the next, but that's not really the case. I'm just here to speak my mind, tell you what it is, and tell it like it is or shut up, basically, right? So I want to let you guys know what it is. On this show here, please be warned. Any person coming up throwing horrible comments, disrespectful comments, anything like that, I'm just blocking you. Anything that seems out of the way, seems like you're targeting people, seems like you're trying to create a problem or do anything along that nature, I'm gonna block you. I don't need any more headache. I don't need any drama in my life. And doing this show, it has been beneficial to a lot of people, but at the same time, it has caused me to come under a great deal of political attacks and other attacks that are currently being launched in and around this country. I think it's time that we go through the process of reviewing certain things. And since the Cyber Crimes Act is something that is big in my life at this moment because of an accusation, right? I think it is very important that, we deal with it and we talk about it and we review the Cyber Crimes Act. Okay? It's actually the Cyber Crimes Bill of 2016 and not 2018. So let me stand corrected there. It is the Cyber Crimes Bill of 2016, which I think became an act in 2018, right? Just to be safe. Okay, so we're going to be going through this act today. We're going to be talking about it. We're going to be reviewing it. We're going to have a little bit of discussion on the areas of the law, okay, in this and how it can be positive and how it can be negative. Please do understand that this whole episode will not finish in just like one session, right? So this might be a 2 or 3 or 4 part episode because of the length of what it is that we have to discuss. And I think that with everything that has happened, I think that this is pushing me in a different direction in terms of how we have to review the law, how we have to look at things, and I think this will be a more productive way of doing things than the way that I would have been handling things before, which was a little bit more emotional. But you have to be very, very careful these days and age. And I think it's important that not just for me, but for all persons who view my platform, for persons who are my friends on social media. In fact, I think this is a very important topic for anyone in Guyana that has a social media account, because this can prevent you from falling into a problem like I have fallen into the other day. So it is easier for me to do it this way to protect all of you, right? And unfortunately, I am going to be the example Sucks, but it is what it is. So at least you know that when I talking, I ain't talking with a lie. I ain't talking, to convince you anything. But there are a lot of questions to this whole thing because, in my opinion, I feel that this law that has been passed has not been in the interest of freedom of speech. It has not been in the interest of protecting the rights and liberties of Guyana. In fact, I think this Cybercrimes Act has been tailored in such a way that it actually goes against the people of Guyana, in my opinion, because of how it is being implemented and how it is being strategically used to attack freedom of speech and persons' rights to defend themselves while they are on a social media platform, especially while they are on this platform within their own personal space. Okay? Because many a times I've been on my platform here and I have received numerous amounts of cyber attacks, right? From cyberbullying to all sorts of things. And the law has not made any move on those matters. Okay? But if me or you only toward a thief man, right? We have to face charges. So I think it is very important that you learn to protect yourself from backwards laws or laws that have been tailored to protect wicked people here in this country. Okay? Because there's a lot of people out there spreading lies, spreading rumors, sharing false information on social media, and none of these people have been brought to account for any of their crimes, right? Because there are crimes, and then when you read this bill, when we go through this bill today, you will see, and you yourself, the public, will be able to start identifying the crimes that you can now bring charges against everybody who is on social media who is not doing what they're supposed to be doing on social media. That includes people who are humiliating people. That includes people who are calling people names. That includes politicians and everyone else who is putting down people and lying and slandering each other. That includes all of those people. So, you can't judge me against it and not judge the rest against it, because that much I can talk about, right? I can take me corner, yes, but I ain't taking me corner alone. Plenty other people got to take the corner too, right? Including the media, yes, including the media, right? So we're going to go over this and we're going to see if this Cybercrimes Act has actually been built to help the people of Guyana or to further enslave us. And if this is the case, well, then I will be calling for an amendment to this constitutional act to ensure that the rights and the liberties of people are protected, because a man is supposed to have a right to defend himself from attack. If someone comes into your house, you're supposed to have a right to defend yourself from attack. By all means, you should be able to defend yourself from attack if someone comes into your house to attack you, right? And it is very important for persons to understand. And that's why I've been watching this thing and I've been allowing it to go so long. Because I told people already, I can take the licks to help the population, but nobody ain't watching but listen. So the same way they want to hammer me and come down on me and terrorize me and got me in court dancing and doing all of this stuff is not a problem. But I ain't going to go to this dance hall alone. Not when there's so many dancers out there, right? So I need to inform the public so that everyone can start bringing charges against every single body that violates these laws. And when 500 people get charged by the end of this next week for cyber crimes, then you're going to start to see a complete drastic difference, right, in how these cyber crimes issues are being handled. So I think that this is very, very important. I also believe that this law should be checked back because of who was in charge of the country when this law was passed, right? I think this law has been tailored to protect people that are in high-ranking positions, but not tailored to protect the average person, okay? And because of that, I said it is time for a tell it as it is legal review, okay? So that is what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be doing a tell it as it is legal review. And let's see, boom, here we go. And start changing up the screen a little bit, because I know that we're going to be doing some screen capture in here. Okay, and in front of me here, I actually have the cybercrimes bill. Okay, make sure that all of this stuff is changing over right. Let me see on the next system here what is actually happening. Okay, here we go. So we are going into it. Yeah, so we're going to go over the cybercrimes bill of actually, it's the 17 bill of 2016, right? So we will be going through the bill. I have the bill in front of me, right? And we're going to go through it. And we're going to go through it section by section. And I think it's very important to go through it section by section. If you have never seen this bill before, right, I need you to see it now, so that you will know how to protect yourself while on social media, especially if you live in Guyana. Okay? Big thing. If you're living in Guyana, right, you should know this. Especially if you have a smartphone or a computer device or anything of the sort. All right, guys. So this is what the bill looks like. And it starts off with an arrangement of sections. Part 1 is the preliminary. So you got your short title and you got your interpretation. So let's see what the short title is. Right? Okay. Okay, so let's talk about the act first. It's an act to combat cybercrime by creating offenses of cybercrime, to provide for penalties, investigation, prosecution of offenses, and related matters. Right? And of course, in 2016, it was enacted by the Parliament of Guyana. Now, the preliminary short title is, this act may be cited as the Cybercrimes Act of 2016. The interpretations in this act, right? And you need to understand the meanings of all of these things, okay? Understanding the meanings of this act is important. So let's go through Section 2 of Part 1, the preliminary, which deals with interpretation. In this act, the word child means a person under the age of 18. The term child pornography substitutes, as in Section A, Part 1, it means material and visually depicts a child engaging in real or simulated explicit sexual activity or conduct. Section A2 of Part 1, a child in a sexually explicit pose, okay? Section 3 are presents for sexual purposes, parts of a child's body, pasted to visual representation of parts of an adult's body or vice versa. And includes, but is not limited to, any visual material, including images, animations of videos, audio, or text materials. Does not include any visual representations of a child's body, produced or reproduced for the purpose of education, counseling, or promotion of reproductive health, or as part of a criminal investigation and prosecution or civil proceedings, or in the lawful performance of a person's profession, duties, or functions. Okay. Next, the term computer data. Okay. The term computer data stands for Part 1, Section A1, right? Means any representation of facts. This is a serious thing, right? That word facts. Let me back up a little bit first. I'm going to back up a little bit back over here to child pornography, right? Simulated, where it says Section A child engaging in real or simulated explicit sexual activity or conduct. A child in a sexually explicit pose. Okay. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the first thing I want to see is that sexual explicitness could also be determined by opinion, right? Because it is my opinion that when you got a small little girl child bending over, shaking she bamsy and cocking up she bumper, in to my opinion, and I think to every other decent minded individual in the world, that would be considered a sexually explicit pose or posture or position. Because what really are you showcasing that little child doing? Rubbing up their bamsy on something? Should any little child be rubbing up their bamsy on anything? Should any little children be taught how to cock up their bumper? And should we be promoting that stuff on social media? That is a whole nother atmosphere of things. However, I have seen that many times, and I have not seen anyone report or do anything based on that. People might talk about it, but nobody don't report it. But just to let you know, that is something you could report on. And I think that anytime I see crazy behavior, I know what I gotta do, right? Because I think it's crazy, right? Okay, now let's jump back down to computer data, right? I think this is crazy because their termination of computer data, right, in Section A1 of Part 1 of the Cybercrimes Bill says means any representation of Section A1, the facts. So are they saying that we cannot talk facts or transmit the truth? Because this seems to be where I might be in a problem. Because when I come out here on social media, I like to talk fact. I don't like to talk fiction, right? I like to talk the truth, right? Not a lie. So that is important that people understand that I like to talk the truth, because the first, right within the Cybercrimes Act, it's telling you that you cannot put out a representation of the truth. So if you know the truth, and it's the truth, this law is telling you that you can't talk about the truth, or the truth is considered computer data to them. It's the truth. Truth is truth. How can they consider a fact into something like this? Anyway, we will review a little bit more, because that's a danger sign right there, because a fact is a truth, right? You can't it also stands for concepts. It stands for machine readable code or instructions such as barcodes, so on and so forth. Information including text, audio, images, a video, all of this is considered their computer data, right? That is in a form suitable for processing in a computer system and is capable of being sent, received, or stored. It includes traffic data or computer programs. Okay. Computer data storage medium means anything in which computer data is capable of being stored, or from which computer data is capable of being retrieved or reproduced with or without the aid of a computer system. Computer program means computer data which represents instructions or statements that, when executed in a computer system, can cause the computer system to perform a function. Computer system means a device or group of interconnected or related devices which follow a computer program or external instructions to perform automatic processing of computer data, and B, includes but is not limited to a desktop computer, a laptop computer, a netbook computer, a tablet computer, a video game console, a smartphone, a personal digital assistant, or a smart television. Well, them politicians got plenty ties. Function in relation to a computer system includes logic control, arithmetic, deletion, storage or retrieval, and communication of telecommunications to, from, or within a computer system. Intercept includes listening to, viewing, or recording a function of a computer system, or B, acquiring the substance, meaning, or purport of a function of a computer system by use of technical means. Service provider. Any public or private entity that provides the users of its service the ability to communicate by means of a computer system, or B, any public or private entity that processes or stores computer data on behalf of such communication service or users of such service. Right? So that's like GT&T, all these other places that sell in internet service, bandwidth, things like that. Subscriber information means any information contained in the form of computer data or any other form that is held by a service provider related to subscribers of its service and by which can be established. A, the type of communication service used, the technical provisions taken in the period of service. B, the subscriber's identity, postal or geographic address, telephone, and other access number, billing and payment information, available on the basis of the service agreement or arrangement. C, any other information on the site of the installation of communication equipment available on the basis of the service agreement or arrangements. Security measure includes password, access codes, and encryption codes. Traffic data means computer data that A, relates to a communication by means of a computer system, B, is generated by a computer system that is part of a chain of communication, and C, shows the communication's origin, destination, route, time, date, size, duration, or the type of underlying service. All right. Part 2. Okay? We will start talking about the cybercrime offenses. So before we get into part 2, let's go back up here to where part 2 is located, and let's take a look at the offenses that can be committed under the cybercrimes law. Offense number 1, illegal access to a computer. Crime number 2, illegal interception. Offense number 3, which is section that's 5, which is illegal data interference. 6, illegal acquisition of data. 7, illegal system interference. 8, illegal devices. 9, unauthorized receiving, giving, or obtaining of access to computer data. 10, computer-related forgery. 11, computer-related fraud. 12, offenses affecting critical infrastructure. 13, identity-related offenses. 14, child pornography. 15, child luring. 16, publication or transmission of image of private area of a person. 17, multiple electronic mail messages and fraudulent website. 18, offenses of sedition. 19, using a computer system to coerce, harass, intimidate, humiliate, etc. a person. 20, infringement of copyright, patents and designs and trademarks. 21, corporate liability. 22, attempt, aiding, or abetting. 23, use of a computer system to commit offense under any other law. 24, offenses prejudicing investigation. Okay, so now we're going to go down and we're going to review right? The fullness of the cybercrimes offenses. So let's go to part 2, and we will start. Right? Mind I say, this is going to be a 2-part show, okay? And we're going to start. Okay, so cybercrimes offense number 1, which is illegal access to a computer system. Right? A person commits an offense if the person intentionally, without authorization, or in excess of authorization, or by infringing any security measure, accesses a computer system or any part of a computer system of another person. A person who commits this offense under subsection 1 is liable: A, on summary conviction, to a fine of $3 million and imprisonment for 3 years, or on a conviction on indictment, to a fine of $5 million and to an imprisonment of 5 years. Right? Those are very heavy punishments for non-violent crimes. I think that's crazy, because some people are still getting, some people, that's like a manslaughter charge, right? People, vehicular manslaughter and stuff like that, doing 3 to 5 years and stuff, right? So people got to know. Anyway, illegal interception. A person commits an offense if the person intentionally and without lawful excuse or justification intercepts: A, the transmission of computer data or any communication of another person to, from, or within a computer system, or B, any electromagnetic emission carrying computer data from a computer system. 2, a person who commits an offense under subsection 1 is liable: A, on summary conviction, to a fine of $5 million and imprisonment for 3 years. On a conviction of indictment, a fine of $8 million and imprisonment of 5 years. Ha ha ha. I think I know a couple of people that done break this law, so I'm going to bring it up to them very shortly. Right? Next, illegal data interference, or data interference, depending on how you want to say it. It's data, right? Not data, data. Good. Right? Section 5(1). A person commits an offense if the person intentionally and without lawful excuse or justification: A, causes computer data of another person to deteriorate; B, deletes computer data of another person; C, alters or modifies computer data of another person; D, copies or moves computer data from another person to a different location within a computer system or to any computer data storage medium; E, renders computer data of another person meaningless, useless, or ineffective; F, obstructs or interferes with another person's lawful use of computer data; or G, denies access to computer data to a person who is authorized to access it. Part 2 of 5 says a person who commits an offense under subsection 1 is liable: A, on summary conviction, to a fine of $3 million and to imprisonment for 3 years. On conviction on indictment, of a fine of $8 million and to imprisonment of 5 years. Next offense, illegal acquisition of data. A person who intentionally and without lawful excuse or justification acquires computer data of another person commits an offense and is liable: A, on summary conviction, to a fine of $3 million and to imprisonment of 3 years; B, on conviction of indictment, to a fine of $8 million and to an imprisonment of 5 years. Oh boy, I know somebody who's going to be in a lot of trouble very soon, okay, for intercepting other person's information. Does look like they might see an $8 million and a 5 year. So we're going to go down that road a little later on this afternoon. Right? Let's go to 7. Illegal system interference. A person commits an offense if the person intentionally and without lawful excuse or justification hinders or interferes with A, a computer system of another person, B, another person's lawful use or operation of a computer system. Part 2 of 7. A person who commits an offense under subsection 1 is liable, A, on summary conviction to a fine of $3 million and imprisonment of 3 years. B, on conviction on indictment to a fine of $8 million and imprisonment of 5 years. Section 7.3. For the purposes of this section, hinder includes A, disconnecting the electricity supply to a computer system. B, causing electromagnetic interference to a computer system. C, corrupting a computer system or damaging, deleting, deteriorating, altering, or suppressing computer data. Okay. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's just review section 7.3 of the Cyber Bills Act. I think this is very important for everyone in the country. This is an extraordinarily important part here, right? Let me just pull back over quick. So this is an extraordinarily important part of the Cyber Crimes Bill. And I'm going to bring it back up, and I'm going to show you, how this law is broken. But because the law is broken, I'm going to show you how to use it to your advantage, okay? Because this law has been used as a weapon against the people. Now it's time that the people turn the tables on this whole scenario. So let me show you how to turn the tables on this one first and foremost, right? Boom. For the purposes of this section, hinder includes disconnecting the electricity supply to a computer system. So ladies and gentlemen, if all of us are hooked up to GPL, and GPL disconnect your electricity by way of blackout, and that is interfering with your data, it's interfering with your computer system, possibly causing damage to your computer system, ladies and gentlemen, right? Is that not disconnecting your power supply to your computer system? I mean, let's think carefully. Think about it. Think about it very carefully, ladies and gentlemen. Is that not disconnecting power supply to your computer system? Last month, my computer system was damaged because of a disconnection of power, right? A day when I was having a meeting with the president, disconnection of power for 2 minutes. I found that to be very ridiculous. That could have happened. However, it is now I am learning from the Cyber Crimes Bill that GPL would have broken the law. I had no clue. But it says it right here. If you could see the little cursor, it says it right here, right? And I want people to know, illegal system interference. That is the law that, if I'm correct, and I may or may not be, but I'm just saying that if this is a law, illegal system interference, how do we know when GPL is legally or illegally interfering with our system by disconnecting the electricity supply to our computer system by shutting down the power to our neighborhoods? Well, if this is the case, ladies and gentlemen, I suggest everybody whose computer was turned off because of a disconnection or because of a blackout, right? To understand that the law does not provide a loophole for GPL and a blackout. The law says nothing about blackout. It does not say that it has to be intentional. Because with GPL, you don't know if it is intentional or it is not intentional. However, for everybody, I suggest the law review this matter here before people like me start bringing private and criminal actions against GPL for blackout. Because if I am using my computer and this is my job and GPL black me out, then that is an illegal interference with my system. Why are you blocking out my power? So that I can't do my transmission. You see, this is one of those areas where it's kind of a gray area. Because in this area, the law will be interpreted based on opinion and not based on fact. And not based on priority and not based on detail. Because this section of the law does not prescribe anything here to protect GPL when they give you a blackout. Because when they knock you with a blackout, they interfere with your computer system. Your computer system, hold on. Yes, hello? Hello?
This is Snow White.
Yeah, this is him.
This is the girl from Rockford.
What's up, my sister? What's going on?
All right, so Mr. Anthony.
I'm doing all right, but I'm on a lot. I'm on a live. Is this important, or can I call you back, or can you call me back in a half an hour?
No, when you're ready for the pipe.
Oh, for the pipes. I gotta let you know. Because they're doing a set of work here right now. Gone. Good. Bye. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. We had a phone call there, right? Dealing with the piping for our housing project, right? Because you need piping for the housing scheme. You need drainage, you need stuff like that. Water's got to move, right? Water can't be stagnating anywhere. So all of that is part of the game. But yes, back to the law now. The law does not allow any loophole, right, for GPL. So I think it is very important that persons check that out if you want to get, I guess, I don't know. Maybe you got a case there. Right? The way cases is pop up in this country, you might have a case there. But make sure you call the right attorneys, right? You need good attorneys. You need some political attorneys. Right? Okay, next. Section 8 of the Cybercrimes Act. Illegal devices. A person commits an offense if the person intentionally and without lawful excuse or justification possesses, procures, for use, produces, sells, imports, exports, distributes, discloses, or otherwise makes available a device or a computer program that is designed or adapted, or B, a computer password, access code, encryption code, or similar data by which the whole or any part of a computer system, computer data storage medium, or computer data is capable of being accessed. For the purposes of committing an offense under this act or any other law. 2. A person who commits an offense under subsection 1 is liable. A. On summary conviction to a fine of $3 million and to imprisonment for 3 years. B. A conviction on indictment to a fine of $8 million and to imprisonment of 5 years. Right? This is serious stuff. Right? All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be stopping at, I'm going to finish section 9 and then we're going to call it a day because I still got other work to do today, but I wanted to put this out there. Right? Now we're going to talk about section 9 and we're going to wrap this up for today. And we will continue this tomorrow. Right? Okay, section 9, unauthorized receiving, giving, or obtaining of access to computer data, right? 9.1. A person who is not authorized to receive or have access to computer data commits an offense if he intentionally or without lawful excuse or justification receives or gains access to computer data from another person, whether or not he knows that the other person obtained the computer data through authorized or unauthorized means. 2. A person who is authorized to receive or have access to computer data commits an offense if that person intentionally and without lawful excuse or justification receives or gives access to computer data from another person, knowing that the other person has obtained the computer data through unauthorized means. 3. A person commits an offense if the person obtains computer data through authorized means and intentionally and without lawful excuse or justification gives that computer data to another person who he knows is not authorized to receive or have access to that computer data. This is a serious thing, you know. Like sharing of information, right? Very, very careful, right? Ladies and gentlemen, if you guys are going to share any information with me, let it be information that has been already out and about in the media. If not, I ain't talking about it. I ain't dealing with it, right? I don't want no problem under this type of act, right? A person who commits an offense under this section is liable, A, on summary conviction to a fine of $3 million and to imprisonment for 3 years, or B, a conviction on indictment to a fine of $8 million and to imprisonment for 5 years. Right? And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to stop this there. Remember, we left off at Section 10 in the Cybercrimes Act, right? Section 10 of Part 2 of the Cybercrimes Bill of 2016, Government of Guyana Bill, right? And we're going to go ahead and we're going to close off today's session there. So expect that tomorrow we're going to have a follow-up on the Cybercrimes Bill, and we're going to continue, and we're going to continue to go through it. I would think that by now, persons who are watching should be able to depict that there is a lot of things that is currently wrong. Might not be wrong with the bill, because the bill is a bill. But that bill, so far, if we really held it to the law, I would expect to see no less than 2,000 Guyanese being charged for inappropriate pictures of children, sharing of information that may be considered profane or pornography, right? Persons who have spread false information, right? Online information that is not proven to be right. You know, those persons can be charged to go to jail once you know who those persons are. You know, apparently the sharing of a fact is probably one of the things that has me most troubled, is that the law prevents you from sharing facts. So if the law states that you can't share fact, then many of us are in trouble. Because the word the law states was F-A-C-T-S, facts, right? And the definitive meaning of a fact is something that is absolutely true, that it has been proven, it has been verified, right? So are we not allowed to share facts? And if we're not allowed to share facts through our computer, then are we supposed to use our computers to lie to people every day? If that is the case, well, then I can't do that, because I'm not going to be lying to people every day. I don't want to live a life like that, and I don't think anyone should, right? So what if somebody now shared the truth or stopped the crime in progress, saw something happening, and decided to act and stop a crime in progress? What happens then? right? What happens then? Is that to say that everybody is in problems after that? I mean, somebody's got to tell me, right? Like I said, the law isn't very detailed, and I would think that whoever has to draw up these bills, I think they need to be very, very precise. I think they need to be very, very precise with their bills. Hi, good morning. You're on to Tell It As It Is or Shut Up, right? You're on a live show.
I want to thank God that you are in Guyana. Regardless of all the prosecution and execution and wrongful imprisonment from corrupt individuals, I want to thank you and thank God that I, George Correa, have produced something to stand up against corruption and the situation facing you. We don't thief, we don't lie, we help our enemy. And I still would ask you here today, regardless of your code scene and what's going on, forgive the woman, for she was misled. And whoever is behind all this, politician or others, watch and see in 40 days' time, an earthquake gonna hit that country.
Stop. I don't want no earthquake hitting here. Stop. I rebuke that right away. Too many innocent people. Okay, Mr. Correa, thank you very much. I think that your anger is out there.
It's not anger.
Listen,
but for
I understand.
People in Guyana, stand firm.
Listen. I understand, but we're going over some of the laws today. I'm going over the cyber crimes bill today, and the reality is there are many people in this country that would have broken the Cyber Crimes Act. However, I have not seen the government or anyone really leaning in against the people that have broken the Cyber Crimes Act.
All right, hold a second.
Wait, hold on. I want to state something very, very important that must be stated. Right? Now, there are many people who are on Facebook that I have seen who have used a computer device to humiliate people. I want to give you one example of this. Ever since I have come to Guyana, I have seen many people on social media calling Barrett Jagdeo an anti-man. Now, this is a serious problem because there is no proof of evidence to showcase that. Yet there are many people who would have went on social media who would have said things like that. Doesn't that man deserve to have his rights protected if he has never been proven or seen in like an anti-man type of state? Because I've seen the former president before, and I have never seen anything to indicate that man go down that line. Yet, if you look, you will see thousands of people who don't like the man, who would put out false statements against the man. And I think that in fairness, if the law is fair, then everyone who has wrongfully tried to humiliate that man should be called into question for humiliating that man. I mean, this is just what I'm saying. Because the reality is, if you put a comment, you put a post, you put something like that, you don't have valid proof of it, but you're doing it, well then that should be considered slander. And there have been many times where I have seen people slander Barrett Jagdeo. I have seen people slander Anil Nandalal. I have seen people slander our current president, His Excellency Dr. Irfan Ali. Right? I have seen people slander our ex-president David Granger. I have seen people slander Joseph Harmon. I have seen people slander. In fact, 90% of the Guyanese that are on social media have already, in my opinion, broken the cybercrimes law in terms of slandering other individuals and saying
all right,
things
give
without
me a
cause.
hearing now.
Hold on. I also want to point out something else while I'm still on this live. So let me switch back over to display capture. I want to show the world something. In 2019, Mr. Correa, Newsroom Guyana had published a false report, and their report states Change Guyana endorsed by 2 alleged fraudsters. I am now going to ask Newsroom to please provide any evidence in any court of law in which case I have ever been brought to question for any type of fraud in any which way, shape, size, or form. Because the reality is that would have also been false information put into the public to create defamation of character against myself, and for persons to actually try to damage me business-wise and politically. So these are all areas where the law is being bent and twisted to suit people that politicians like, to suit the media when the media is on an attack against any other political person. These are all tools that have been used. But based on the Cyber Crimes Act of 2016, right, persons should not be spreading false information or things to damage people in that area. Also, Mr. Correa, I think you might like to know that based on the Cyber Crimes Bill of 2016, right, interference or disconnecting the power to your computer device, if somebody does that, it is also a breach of the law. So it leads me to question on whether or not, if you are using your computer, Mr. Correa, and GPL gives you a blackout and causes you to be disconnected and damages your equipment, if they can also be charged under the cyber crimes law for disconnecting your power and causing damage to your computer device, right? So the law does not specify on whether or not, which means that, in my opinion, it might be open season on GPL. So I believe that if they wanted to use these types of laws to govern Guyana, then the law must be held up transparently and to a point. There should not be no favoritism with this law. We must also hold on. We must also take into consideration that this particular law was passed during the time that we had a government that was not functioning 100% in the people's interests, which has been pointed out during the course of 2020, from the 2020 elections, where there has been blatant attempts to rig an election, which led to a fight for democracy, which led to the world stepping in to enforce democracy here in Guyana. So tell me, if a bill was passed by an undemocratic group or a group that behaved undemocratically, should that bill still be valid, or should that bill be reviewed by a non-biased parliamentary committee? What is your opinion on that? Yes, what is your opinion on that?
Well, in due respect to my fellow Guyanese, the Constitution was breached when it stated, I forget the article, when it stated that no one who holds a other citizenship should be sitting in there making laws to govern the people of the said country when we get rid of colonial master, only to employ the servant of them to rule the country. We should pull up the Canadian flag in Parliament, the American flag, the British, whoever, whichever country those ministers who sit down there country from.
Well, Mr. Correa, You have actually brought up a very, very valid point, and it's a point that I will be discussing with my attorneys this afternoon.
No, give me a minute, please. Let me finish.
Wait. Let me just touch on this. Let me just touch on this topic for a minute. Right? Ladies and gentlemen, let us look at the Constitution of Guyana, and let us legally sit down and discuss the law, because the law is supposed to be fair. The law is supposed to be just. The law is supposed to be non-corruptible. So now, ladies and gentlemen, if the Constitution of Guyana states that no one holding dual citizenship should be sitting in Parliament, and people who have held dual citizenship and broken the Constitution, which have made their sitting in Parliament invalid, could they legally pass a law? And can an illegal law be used to prosecute somebody legally? Let us discuss this. But that will be, Mr. Correa, but that will be discussed a little bit more in tomorrow's episode. And I look forward to having you on the show tomorrow, because I do have to close this up.
And I have a message.
Wait, stop. Stop,
Please,
Mr. Correa.
this is important.
No. Minute you tell me you got message and you got call, I ain't want to hear though. No. Listen. No. We're going to stop right there. Thank you very much. Mr. Correa, I know that you have many, many things to say, but you also need to be extraordinarily cautious with your message and with your mouth. Okay? Right? Were you sitting there and listening to the laws? Dude, you cannot transmit a fact, information that is factual. All of this leaves things to be based on opinion. And Mr. Correa, please be advised that legally I am responsible for this platform here. So if you come upon this platform and in your anger or in your hastiness or in your emotional outburst against the corruption that is happening in the country, if you say the wrong thing, Mr. Correa, that is all they want you to do. So they could come and they could execute me, or they could lock me up again. So, Mr. Correa, sometimes, my buddy, and I love you bad, you got to shut your mouth by. I know you don't like it, but I got to tell you it as it is. You got to shut your mouth by. Trust me on this. And since I have no idea where your mouth was about to head, for the safety of myself, I had to cut you right there and then. Because you's a man, I got to talk to you first before you jump online. Because when you get vexed, I understand you're about truth and you're about justice. These laws that have been penned and tabled were illegally penned, were illegally passed, and illegally implemented into this country. So I am seeking some of the best constitutional attorneys here in this country, because I think we have a major constitutional violation that needs to be addressed. Ladies and gentlemen, I am of the opinion that two wrongs cannot make a right. I'm of the opinion that if you build a foundation and your foundation is shaky, and you start to pack weight on top of it, and you do not go back and rectify the weakness in that foundation, your whole building will collapse. And a law is very much the same way. A law must be built upon a strong, solid foundation. Ladies and gentlemen, when a variety of laws that have been passed in Guyana has been passed, they were not passed based on a strong legal foundation. Many of our laws were passed illegally, which means those laws should not be considered valid. However, because of politics, those laws are considered valid. But politics should not should not take precedence over the law of the land, which is the Guyanese constitution. And that which comes first should always take precedence over that which has come second. You can't put Jesus before God because God made Jesus. How are you going to pass an illegal law without respecting the legal one? It is impossible. So, ladies and gentlemen, currently we have a constitutional crisis in our country. This constitutional crisis has led to illegal people sitting in parliament. People who are never supposed to be there in the first place, passing laws. It is very important that we stand up for the law in fullness. If that same law is being used to put people in prison, well, then the law must come correct. Do not come to me with a broken law and a broken legal system and pretend to be clean or pretend to be the vice of legality, when the law in itself is an abomination against the Constitution of this country. Ladies and gentlemen, in order to fix the problems in Guyana, believe it or not, there's no shortcut. The judges, the lawyers, the politicians, they must also be held to accountability for enforcing laws that they damn well know are illegal. Ladies and gentlemen, if the people that voted to pass the law should from the first place never have been given the authority to pass the law, how could that law be valid? Explain that one. Can I thief your car and legally sell it to someone else? No. I would get locked up. Can I put a gun to your head, take your wallet, take your ID, and walk into your bank and use your ID to withdraw your money? No, it's illegal. It is illegal. It is wrong. And because of this, everybody, every decent citizen in this country is in danger. It is in danger. You are in danger. You no longer have freedom of speech. How many people have went to prison in Guyana based on laws that were illegally passed from people who knowingly broke the law to be in parliament in the first place? Ladies and gentlemen, we cannot fix Guyana until we first fix the constitutional crisis. I am calling on men like Timothy Jonas. I am calling on men like Anil Nandalal. I am calling on men like Lennox Schumann, who had to give up his citizenship to sit in parliament. What goes for the goose must go for the gander. Roop, I am taking my time and being very, very careful here. But at the same time, a man must be able to defend himself. And I have a major issue. How can you charge me on a law that was passed by people that were illegally in the position in the first place. Ladies and gentlemen, that is an abomination, and it is a disrespect to the Constitution. It is a disrespect to the citizens of this country. And I am calling on the government of Guyana to enforce the Constitution of Guyana. For no man is above the Constitution. There should be no dual citizens sitting in Parliament making laws. Any and all laws made by people that were in violation of the Constitution need to be amended. They must be withdrawn and new bills drawn and tabled for those new laws to be re-implemented in a correct fashion to ensure that the course of justice in this country is upheld. How dare you try citizens against illegal laws? How dare you persecute the working class? When the top buys, they break in the law, fix the Constitution, and then bring it to the people. That is something that must be addressed. Every person that has went to jail, who has went to jail based on a law that was illegally passed, you have become a victim to society. They have wronged you. Whether you was innocent or guilty, if the law was incorrect, then you have been wronged. How can the law be hypocritical to itself and still put people in jail for doing less than what it has allowed? No, 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 no. That is not right. That is completely wrong. What goes for one should go for the next. Because nobody should be above the law. And ladies and gentlemen, all of these headaches and problems that we are currently having now, it's like this because for decades we have allowed the Constitution to be broken. So it is important that we call for amendment to our complete Constitution. We have to. Because in no court of law should a man go to jail based on offenses by an illegally passed law. So ladies and gentlemen, if you are a constitutional attorney, I would like you to get in contact with me. Because if they're going to fight me wrongfully, it is better I fight with the law on my side and fight them the right way. Do not think you're going to slap me and I'm just going to sit down. You put me in problems. I can take my corner, yes. But fighting for my rights, I will continue to fight for my rights. Especially when my constitutional rights as a citizen of Guyana, as a taxpayer, as a working class citizen, has been affected. Maybe everybody else quiet. I ain't quiet, and I could read. I could read. Right? And the fact that I can read is a serious problem for many, many people. Because they are used to telling dunce people whatever they want to tell dunce people. But I am not dunce. I am not dunce. But for people who want to play stupidity, I can call every one of y'all illegal people into question. Every one of y'all illegal people can get called into question. Right? And when I tell you that I am going to take this matter for constitutional reform and a violation of the Constitution, I'm taking it straight to the CCJ. Because it is wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, if you or your family or anyone has been affected over the course of the years because they have been put in prison or wrongfully charged for a crime that has been termed as a bill or an act that has been passed in Parliament when dual citizens were voted, ladies and gentlemen, your constitutional rights have been completely violated. You may have been serving time in jail wrongfully, paying lawyer fees wrongfully, getting pushed around by the court system wrongfully, getting harassed by police wrongfully. The amount of wrong thing and suffering people gone through is ridiculous. So ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who want to join me in this constitutional battle, because yes, it shall and will be a constitutional battle, I will need your support. You don't have to come out the front, but we got to pay the constitutional lawyers. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to sue them. We're going to sue all of them. And this case will be tried by the World Court. It will be tried by the CCJ. It will be tried by higher authorities than those in Guyana. Right? By those in Guyana. So please be advised that any and every law that has been passed while there were people who were not legally acceptable in terms of the Constitution sitting in Parliament, all of those laws need to be called back and done the right way. And everybody who have suffered injury because of those laws, you now have a matter and a case to discuss. It is important that you discuss it with your attorneys. And not just any attorney, ladies and gentlemen, because many attorneys work for either one side or the next. You need to get an outside constitutional attorney. And I think I know just the team of people. Because, ladies and gentlemen, how can you prosecute somebody and the law in itself is not legal or valid? Tell me. But we will discuss that in tomorrow's episode. In the meantime, you guys have a great day. Thank you very much for tuning in. Right? I got to get back to work now, do my operator thing. All right. And remember, this particular thing here is here on behalf of me. Right? Because, it's very, very important for people to know. Right? Also, I got to check up a couple other things because if I am correct, there were people that received computer data illegally based on the law, and I have to go and talk to my attorneys to also bring charges against those people. Right? So it is very, very important. Dimple, Debbie Din? No, not just because I say the law is wrong, that means it is. No, it's not me. The Constitution of Guyana states that if you are a dual citizen, you cannot sit in Parliament. And if you are sitting in Parliament with a dual citizenship, that means you are illegally sitting in Parliament. And if you are illegal sitting in Parliament, how could you vote on a law to be passed legally? That is not what I say, Debbie. That is what the Constitution says. Right? And how can we talk about democracy and not respect the Constitution? What type of jiggery-porkery nonsense we doing here? And calling it politics or calling it governance? No. This must be addressed correctly. And it has become a constitutional issue, a major constitutional issue, one that I am sure will see the CCJ, one that I am positive will see the CCJ. Roop, the machine is currently at McCorp. They're almost done with final inspections. I just want to be safe before we kick back full. We have another team of machines coming there Saturday. It was supposed to be either this afternoon or for Friday latest, tomorrow, but it's more than likely going to be on Saturday, Roop. Right? So that's gonna be a good thing, okay? And then then it's kind of full-scale operation. We have a few machines that'll be on the ground working. I'll be operating the backhoe because you know what? I didn't even want too many people operating my machines anymore. I can go and operate my backhoe. That is why I learned how to do it. And and then the excavator's doing his job. The backhoe is doing his job. The dozer gonna come and do his job, and you know and we're gonna go from there, right? So just giving you a little progress update, right? That's why I'm not there right now, because I'm still kind of waiting. I'm waiting for the call back from McCorp, right? It's a good thing we took it there too, because from the original issue we still did find a couple more wires that were pulled that weren't properly checked, because we couldn't properly check it there at the work site. So getting it into McCorp, those boys do an amazing job. They're checking everything. Let me thank Samad and let me thank Jonathan from McCorp for really taking the time to help me find any and everything that could be wrong with this stuff, right? Very, very important, right? Customer service, man. So I tell you, at first it started off one way, but this is when you could tell customer service. It has come back around, and they are standing with me. They're making sure, you know. Yeah, Roop, I'm waiting to see myself in operation too right now, right? Because if the machine is down, I can't get paid because I'm the new operator, right? So that's my job. So if I ain't operating, I can't make money, right? So I gotta get busy, right? So I'm definitely waiting on that right now, so I can get really, really busy. Good news, we got into road surveys, so we know our elevations, we know the exact area to cut and dig out. So now I can really start to clear down that whole roadway, and we can start to see some real progress soon. So I expect to see a lot of progress over the course of this next week. So that's going to be really, really good, really amazing. So everybody wants to know who breaching the Constitution. Ladies and gentlemen, that in itself, I will allow you to do your own research. I ain't talking no name. People think y'all slick and tricky and not me. I ain't falling for none of that. Right? None of that. Right? People ain't here. You can't talk the truth. You ain't hear the cyber bill. You can't talk facts, so you gotta be careful. I got a Tom and Jerry this whole thing, just like the way Parliament does a Tom and Jerry story. I got a Tom and Jerry the story here, until the Constitution is actually being upheld. Because as it is right now, the Constitution is not being upheld. Right? So what I will tell you is that other Guyanese have broken the law, and the law has not been enforced. Now we are currently running around with illegal laws governing our nations. Why do I say it is an illegal law? How can you have a legal law passed by people who are illegally seated in those positions? How can you have that done? No. In order to make Guyana straight again, ladies and gentlemen, we must first find the first obstruction or disruption or breakage of the law in Parliament and address it from there. So if we got to go back 50 years and we see a dual citizen sitting in Parliament voting on a bill, from then all the way up, all them bill got to change. How can you pass a bill with illegal people? That is like me robbing you of your money, buying a house. When you come to my house, I arrest you for trespassing. This is why the politicians don't like me. This is why they don't like me, because I can speak sense. You can't send people to jail on illegal laws. You can't call those laws legal if there was a breach of the Constitution when passing those laws in the first place. Exactly, Miss Chin. That law should be null and void. Null and void. And in fact, the next time I'm going to court, my attorneys are going to call it up and ask the judge to dismiss my matter because the law in itself is illegal. Yes, Anita, if there is such an individual that has broken the Constitution, which disqualified that person from sitting in Parliament, yet that person was still sitting in Parliament to pass a law, Sunita, then that law that was passed is illegal. All of those laws must be recalled. All of those convictions upon those laws, there must be amends. And so help me God, as long as I am being tried under an illegal law, I will forever talk about the illegality of the law, and I shall bring it to the forefront. You should have left me in my car now. Should have left me in my car now. Because I am sure hundreds, if not thousands of people would have went to jail already based on an illegal law. What are you going to do when all of them start to find out that they were illegally sent to prison? When all of them decide to take lawyer and come with one mega action. Tell me, file a motion? No, I can file more than a motion. Motion? This matter, because it is a constitutional matter, would not be tried in Guyana. This matter will be tried at the CCJ and then the World Court if necessary. So let us fight this thing the right way. Just like Mr. Nandalal said from the beginning, if there was no procedure, the people could not, there was no procedure set out in the law that allowed APNU to file an appeal for the petition, for the election petition. Right? But there is a procedure constitutionally that tells you, ladies and gentlemen, that no dual citizen should be sitting in Parliament. None at all. And if there's a dual citizen sitting in Parliament, then any law passed or voted on by that dual citizen should be deemed illegal, because they should have never been sitting there in the first place, voting for laws for law-abiding citizens when they themselves had broken the Constitution from the very start. Ladies and gentlemen, how can a criminal who is in the act of committing a crime pass a law to put people in jail? Don't you find something wrong with that? Isn't there something wrong with that? Ladies and gentlemen, isn't there something wrong with that? Right? There's something seriously wrong with that. Hello, my son. I love you. Daddy loves you. Good. You be a good boy. Good. I can't talk to him now. I'll call him back. Love you. Bye. Good. Take care of my boy. Good. Yes. You know, ladies and gentlemen, how can a man who is breaking the law put you in jail for an illegal law that he made? That is all I want to know. How can you go to jail for an illegally passed law. So tomorrow, we're going to continue looking at some of these laws. And in fact, I think that this particular program here will now evolve into a complete constitutional reform program. Because if it is the law that they want us to deal with, I will become very proficient in the law. Because if I must spend time to run to court unnecessarily, if I must spend time to deal with legal matters, well then let me tell you this. I will learn about the law, every aspect of it. I will teach the world about our law. I will find every law that was illegally passed in Guyana, and I shall inform the public so that everyone in the public will know when and where they were violated in accordance to the Constitution. So, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you very much for today. And I must now go back to my studying so that I can become one day proficient in the law. I may even take up a course at the university to study law right now. Because in between my jobs, I can have a little bit of time. If anybody would like to assist me in getting a college degree as an attorney so that I can learn constitutional law, let me know. I'm willing to take the charity to educate myself in constitutional law and become one of the best constitutional lawyers for this country, because I think we're going to need it. I think we're going to need it. And one thing I could tell you for a fact, ladies and gentlemen, once I pass that bar exam, they can't stop me from becoming an attorney. Right? So, to my learning comrades out there who are already in the field, those of you who are being called esquire and this, understand that if the public decides to pay for my education to go to University of Guyana and study law, y'all, then big problem. Because I'm going to go and study. And then I'll go over to Trinidad and I'll get my law degree. And I'm going to come back. And into my old age, I will retire as one of the best constitutional attorneys this country has ever seen, to make sure that nobody else is ever violated. Anil, make room in your firm by a coming. I'm going to want a nice office with a pretty secretary who's smart though. Smart. She got to be smart. She can't just be pretty. She got to be smart. Good typing skills and thing. Plenty letters and thing got to get draw up. Right? And it looked like, if anything, if you guys, if I do well and score high, maybe you might let me be a lawyer in your law firm. Who knows? If not, I can start my own firm. Right? It'll be called the Firm of Constitutional Crisis Assistance. For everyone who has been affected by a constitutional crisis. Right? Notice I didn't say too many other law firms, right? Because some of them other law firms, they stupid bad. They just picking losing case all the time. I don't want to go with nobody who losing. I got to go with the winners. I got to go with the winners, right? So I want people to know that, right? So if necessary, I'm telling you straight, if I'm no longer HR director, the amount of time that I'm going to have at least an extra 4 or 5 hours a day to myself. I can easily push an extra 2 hours into my son, but I can put 3 hours or so every day toward my university studying and stuff like that. So if anybody out there, right, would like to assist me in going to the university to get my law degree, I think it might be an important investment. But don't worry, constitutional lawyers make good money. So anybody who assists me with it, I can pay you back. Right? I can pay you back. Because the amount of lawsuits we can bring against everybody here who has broken that Constitution, the amount of money I can get there, all y'all who invest is like you're investing for getting interest. It's like you're investing for getting interest, because you can get a good interest from it. You really want to save the country? I can show you how to save the country. It starts with the Constitution and respecting the Constitution and upholding the Constitution and not allowing anybody to be victimized by illegal acts that go against the Constitution. And I believe that that is the direction that we must head in. But in the meantime, in case I can't afford the schooling, I'm still studying. I will study these laws back, forward, inside, outside, until I know it and I can recognize it. Like if it was my own pubic hair, I got to know this thing. And don't worry, I ain't got no woman. I schedule how I deal with my children. I pretty much work. And the only thing I be doing before that he taking up my time was I was helping plenty Guyanese. Now that I'm no longer HR director because all the nonsense is going on, I don't have to help Guyanese beyond a particular point, except for our charity programs to the orphanages and to the geriatric facilities, of which we have one coming up in 2 days, right, in which we'll be donating to the orphanages and the geriatric facilities across the country. I would like to tell all of the persons who have contributed to this quarter's donation activities that in 2 days, on the 27th, you'll be able to see when we go out there and do the outreach, okay? So, you know, it's a good thing, right? So we gotta handle this thing correctly. Let's see, Sunita said, wow, Guyana Parliament like Hollywood. You got that wrong. Guyana Facebook is the closest thing to Hollywood we got here. That's why all the actors, they're here, right? Guyana Parliament, well, those are rat race, right? Those are rat race, right? That guy's own story there. That's WWE, WWF. There's all type of thing going on in the parliament there, right? So, you know, I want people to know and understand, but that is something different in a sense. I'm just going to be focusing more toward constitutional law, because that is the law that governs the land, right? And I think it is important for us to address it from a constitutional point of view, okay? So with the newfound time that I have, ladies and gentlemen, I will be divulging my time into studying the law from that angle to protect other people from becoming victims of the same crisis that's going on here in Guyana, where there are a lot of illegal laws that are still governing this country. And I say illegal laws for a reason, because the laws were not legally passed. Procedures were broken, laws were broken for those laws to be passed, which means those laws are also and should be considered null and void, right? However, there is a constitutional procedure to address those matters, right? So I'm going to locate the best constitutional attorney in the country who wishes to fight that matter, and I'm hoping that he is willing or she is willing to fight that matter pro bono. If not, ladies and gentlemen, I would need your help to raise the finances, to hire the right lawyer, to take this matter straight to the CCG. Let me know if you're interested. I believe that it will bring fairness to the whole country. And if everybody watching this donate just $50 US toward up, you would be surprised. It ain't gonna kill none of we. It will protect the rights of everybody in this country, and it will bring transparency into Parliament here in Guyana. And I believe that that will be the start of fixing this country for the long term, and not just a band-aid over the wound. Thank you very much. You guys have a great day. Take care. And if you like this show, well, right now, this is part of what I do for a living. Ladies and gentlemen, help me out. Help us keep this thing going. And trust me, I will deliver to you clear, straight, unprejudiced information every time I come out here. And then you will have the one true honest platform in Guyana, delivering you accurate information. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Until I see you again, remember, tell it as it is or shut up. Goodbye.